Hello, Homeworthy. My name is Lanchen Mihalic, and we are at my apartment here in Burbank, California. So let's go inside and take a look.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Lanchen Mihalic. I am a space artist and a YouTuber, and I dabble in interior design. So right now we are in Burbank, California in my apartment, and each room in this place is inspired by things that I love. It could be a movie, it could just be like an interest. Anything I'm passionate about, I like to bring it to life on a larger scale, and that's kind of what each room is. There is one reason I chose this apartment, and it was the checkered floors in the bathroom and the kitchen. Like, it's the most random thing, but I've always wanted that. And also good lighting. Like, you have to find a place with good lighting. I can't live without it, so those were the two things. I'd say the overall style of my apartment is budget friendly and repurposing old items to give them life in a new way. Welcome to my living room. So this is inspired by a room within the Warwick Castle outside of London, and it's kind of based off of the Regency era. So everything that you see here is pretty much taken from another place that I currently had, and I just essentially jerry-rigged it to make it work here. One of my favorite DIY projects in this space is this. I made this out of recycled wood to cover an ugly air conditioning unit. Obviously, with an air conditioning unit, it's like a huge eyesore and it can really ruin a space. So I made this piece right here. I painted it. I got these like really cute decals to put in there, and you should see the back of it. It's disgusting, but it doesn't even matter. It's the fact that from the front, it looks decent. But hey, I made it work. I made it work. I also got another piece of recycled wood to put here to cover the fact that this apartment is just old and it's aged, and there's some things you can't fix on the outside of the building. So I put that there to cover the oldness on the outside that it's falling apart. First thing I replaced in this room, I got rid of the blinds. Gone. Okay, floor to ceiling curtains all the way. IKEA, like the best curtains you can get. If you can do floor to ceiling, just do it. It transforms the space. Without the curtains, if I had the blinds in here, honestly, it wouldn't even look good. So I'm telling you, it's something you have to do, and it just makes this place feel more luxurious, even though it's an apartment built in the 40s. We're doing what we can with the space. So for my chair rail, this was actually from another project I did in an old bedroom that was like old money inspired, light academia inspired, and it was picture frame paneling. And I still kept it, and I was like, I really want to use this again, but unfortunately it was way too small for this wall. So I was like, I wonder if it'll fit as a chair rail, and it did, like perfectly. So it is like cut at a 45-degree angle for picture frame paneling, but only I can really tell that, and it works great. So to keep this living room as simple as possible without doing like wallpaper and painting, all I did was add the chair rail and then paint from here down white, and I think it just adds like the perfect touch. And for these beautiful paintings, I got these from estate sales. Estate sales are my favorite place to thrift items. Like, you get the best deals. Someone made these that lived in the home. They're lovely. I love them. I think the color palette works great in this space because I was going for a light color. I got this beautiful piece from Facebook Marketplace, $5. It's freaking crazy, $5. I got this piece from an estate sale as well. Everything that you see in here is thrifted. Like, this is also thrifted. This is so Regency era. It's very cute. Most of my items I thrifted, I got at Deseret Industries in Utah because I moved here from Utah. And then since I've been here, I started exploring estate sales, and I think that's better than any other thrift store because you can like bargain with them. And honestly, I mean, the homes here in LA, you find some really good pieces, so you can't really beat it, you know? Over here, I got these wall sconces. These are also from Deseret Industries, and I have some LED candles that are in here that can be turned on with remotes. And it's great because candle tapers can be a little dangerous, but you still want the good lighting. So I have those here. I also bought this mirror, got this from Facebook Marketplace. I added a decal on top and just painted it gold to give it some ornate detailing, which is something you would see in the Regency era. And I know that the height of these wall sconces are too high for this mirror, I know. But it's so I don't hit it when I turn around a corner with my shoulder. So I had to do it. Unfortunately, it's not symmetrical. Don't come at me, I'm well aware. This is a very tall palm tree. I got this for 12 bucks, okay? You can't even get one that's 5 feet from IKEA for under 150. It's wild, it looks real, it's great. And I love that it's super tall. So the ceilings in this apartment are 8 feet. It's sad, but I feel like even though this is super big, I love that it's huge and it takes up a big amount of space because I would have nothing here otherwise, and I really like it. It brings some color and life into the space. This is one of my favorites. This isn't a DIY. The air conditioning cover was a major DIY, but this is my favorite because this has my TV behind it. And I wanted a TV, not for me, but for my cat. And I was like, I can't have a big black box on the wall. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Aesthetically, can't do it. So I thought about like getting a frame TV, too expensive, making a picture frame to put on top of it and cover it with like a painting. No, too much work. So I opted for this, and this actually fits perfectly into the Regency era. Yeah, I added that up here to light it, to make it look like it's lighting a tapestry. And this is something that you would see in castles back in the day anyways, because they were put up for decor purposes, but also to keep in heat. So it's a really cool DIY, and whenever I'm using the TV, I just tuck it in to the back. And I got this piece from Etsy for, I think, $40, which is crazy because normally something of this size would be like hundreds. I don't know why this person was selling it for so cheap, but I lucked out. And again, like all of these pieces that you're seeing, like this curtain rod has been with me through 4 different places, and I've just I stained it gold with Rub and Buff, and now I'm reusing it again. Like everything has been reused. So down here, I don't know if you know this, but like traditional interior design is very symmetrical. I normally go in rule of thirds. This, I didn't really do that because I was going for more symmetry, and it works out really well. I got these plants from IKEA. They're like my favorite plants ever. And I did still mix up the pots here to kind of differentiate it a little bit, but it's still very symmetrical. And these are all items that I have thrifted as well. Like literally every single piece I've thrifted. Yeah. And then for lighting in here, had to do a chandelier. Now, this is not the correct size chandelier for this space. I had this beautiful crystal chandelier that was huge. Unfortunately, with the drywall in the ceiling, it was at risk of falling because it was very heavy. Like I was worried it was gonna rip a hole through the wall, like through the ceiling. And so I took it down and I got this one, which is much lighter. And I think it works. I know it's a little too small for the space, but I still love it. It still gives the feeling I was going for, and there was no other lighting. So I thought this was a really good option. It's beautiful and it works really well with the Regency vibe. And then over here, I have more thrifted items, and I don't have a coffee table in this space. I don't know why people have coffee tables. I don't think it makes sense. I work in my living room space a lot. It's the only space that really has an open floor that if I wanted to do like a workout in, I could. So it doesn't make sense for me to have a coffee table. So I opted for a little pop-up tray table, and I know this is like very old school, but I can work on my computer here, I can eat here, and then it also adds a nice natural element to the space because most of the pieces of furniture in here are stained, and this is not. I got this beautiful light here from a thrift store. I think it might be like from Anthropologie. I don't know, it's beautiful, has ornate detailing. And then I made this DIY perch for my cat. This is also, got this from a swap meet for free. This is, I think you call it a pelt, which I wear for my LARPs, and it goes over my shoulders, but I put it here for my cat because it fits. Look, I have to have a little space for my cat to look out the window. So it just has to be here. Plus it matches the rug, which has those dark burgundy colors, so it kind of brings in the darker tones. And then lastly, this chair. It has a sister. It's in my bedroom. I got these for $50 from Facebook Marketplace. I've always wanted a chair like this. I think this color is gorgeous. Highly recommend. And this is a nice little reading nook. And I forgot to mention this beautiful piece of furniture, which was free. And it's warped because of rain. They left it outside, but honestly, I thank them for that because it gives it character. And I think in like a Regency era type home, you're never gonna go into a space like that and see things that are brand new with no like scruffing, like it's never gonna look brand new. It's gonna be a little used. So I'm totally okay with the paint chipping off and with it being warped. I think it gives it character, yeah. So my favorite space that I've ever created would be my spaceship office. It's something I've always wanted to bring to life because I'm a space artist and I love space. So, like going to Disney, Space 220, going to Epcot and seeing the futuristic design that they have there. I've always wanted to bring that to life in my own space. And this room specifically, although it looks slightly different from what it looked like before, because now it's a working art studio, it was entirely made from recycled foam that I got from furniture, and it was like 90% like all recycled stuff that brought it to life. So it's one of my favorite projects I've ever done. And at night, it really comes to life. And there are so many different features in here that I DIY'd that I think would kind of blow people's minds to think that you could do this on your own with recycled stuff. So yeah. Okay, so now we're walking into my Art Deco kitchen. This is inspired by BioShock, without the horror. I love 1920s. I think it's so cool. I looked up concept art from that video game in order to bring this space to life. I wanted it to be mixed with 1920s, but I also wanted it to be mixed with previous decades as well to make it feel a little more authentic. So this wall right here is my favorite part of the kitchen because it's actually made with a Sharpie. It's a DIY Sharpie wallpaper. I made a stencil. I got this design from the BioShock video game, and everything in here is DIY'd. Like I made this mirror, I spray painted it, added that detailing at the top, thrifted it for $5. It's like everything's DIY. I have lots of different lighting options in this kitchen space because there's like no outlets in these older kitchens. So I have all these like plug-in lights that you can recharge and use and just put anywhere, and it's so great for lighting at night. Like this one, which you also saw in the living room. These ones aren't rechargeable, these are battery operated, but man, it just gives such good lighting that you wouldn't get otherwise, especially when you're living in an apartment and it's not like you can hardwire anything. Like I can't do that, can't be bothered. But yeah, so I added the green in here for the Art Deco vibes. I painted this like thick black line here to kind of mimic a chair rail in a sense. And then I got some, Art Deco-ish prints. And then over here, you're gonna see this thrifted curtain. Now this does not go to floor to ceiling, I know, but it's thrifted. And I also I couldn't find anything about this online, but I wasn't too sure about having a floor to ceiling curtain in the kitchen. It seems kind of dirty to me. So I was fine with it being the length that it is. And this is very floral, but because I wanted to bring in previous decades, because if you lived in a 1920s home, you're gonna see other decades bleed into it because you're not gonna get rid of everything you own, right? So I thought that this would make sense being in here if it was authentic. Now back to the no outlets thing. This is where my microwave is. Yeah, I got this little piece of furniture that it seemed a little mid-century modern to me, Art Deco vibes, and I put this old school microwave in here that I got that I felt fit the vibes, and we're all about the vibes here, okay? It has to match the aesthetic or it can't be in here. That is the rule. I have some other simple things here that I felt gave a 1920s feel. Everything thrifted, everything thrifted, DIY'd. I have the matching teacups to those plates just hanging here, again for the vibes. this beautiful clock my friend made me, and it somehow fit the kitchen perfectly. And then more DIY mirrors that I got from the 99-cent store that I painted gold. I mean, like, you can't go wrong with this. Done. And then this light fixture I replaced it, and I painted the ceiling as well. I think like the two main things you can do in a rented apartment is by replacing the light fixtures. Normally you don't damage the place in any way by doing that. And replacing the curtains or the blinds. That's like the two things you can do to make it look 1,000 times better. So let's continue on. I have a long-term goal of being a Disney Imagineer. So like doing set design and stuff like that is something I'm really passionate about. So I love just trying to bring things to life in a new way. And I've done it in every single place I've lived in. And it's not just this space. Like I had a living room that was the Gryffindor common room, and I like aged stone to make it look like a castle. Like I don't know, I just know how to do it. I don't know, I just love being creative. I've always been an artist, but I haven't been pursuing art as a career until over a decade ago, like space art. I was just doing creative things. Like I made space clothing, like I would hand paint space clothing. I would make jewelry, anything creative I did. I was a photographer at one point. Now I do YouTube. Everything I do always ends up in the creative field. So whether it be behind the camera making videos, editing the videos, painting, bringing something to life through interior design, anything creative, I'll do it. It just brings me joy. Okay, so this is my space hallway. I'm a very firm believer in if I have to store away decor or anything, then I have to get rid of it. This kind of keeps me from not having too many things, except my art booth display, because now that's in my closet, so can't really display that all the time. This is all of my artwork. It's artwork that some of it is done, some of it I'm working on, most of it I'm working on. But yeah, I just was like, I'm gonna display this here because this hallway is so bare. I have lots of different paintings here created in oils, acrylics. Most of these, like this, all of my acrylics are made with my hands. I do finger paintings for fun. I can't do that in oils, but I can do it in acrylics, which is really fun. And then I also have resin artwork as well, which is my favorite type of artwork. But I don't have those many pieces because they're all sold. A really neat one though that I started experimenting with, I don't know if you can tell, but this is a black on black Pillars of Creation. And then I actually started doing sculptures as well. And this is based off of moon maps. And that's exactly what it looks like. It's not entirely completed, but if you've ever wondered what the moon looked like up close, this would be it. So now I'm gonna take you into my spaceship office. It did look a little bit different, but right now it's a working art studio. So I'm gonna show you guys some B-roll of what it used to look like, because I looked incredible when I first did it. But as I lived here a little bit longer, I realized I need a place to be able to put a canvas on the wall and paint on the wall, because I do like really big pieces. So I have like a blank area here just for nailing canvas up here so I can paint while standing, which nothing is currently here. But that's why this wall is so bare and why I got rid of all the furniture that you're gonna see in the B-roll that we're showing right now. Yeah, so this is like my little paint corner right here, another pop-up tray set up. A piece in the making. I have an very ugly heater back here. I covered it with this giant space tapestry that my friend gave me. And I actually put a bunch of different ones here, and I just connected them with nails to cover this entire wall. I loved it. Over here, I created this entire wall with recycled foam that I got from furniture that I had bought. And this was from my chandelier that was in the living room originally. That's how big it was. So I saw it and I was like, huh, could this be a window to space? So I got this tapestry and I hot glued it with LED lights to a piece of cardboard to make a space window. Look, I said everything in this apartment's jerry-rigged. I was not kidding. And these also light up, but I'll show you B-roll of that because it looks really cool lit up. But yeah, everything is made with recycled foam and painted, and it's a little Star Trek-y, I will say. But we're here for the vibes.
Cool.
Back here is just, this is some of the resin stuff I was talking about. These are my smaller resin pieces, but I do these on a much larger scale. And resin is essentially just plastic. So I try to make deep nebula space art with resin, and it's one of my favorite methods, and these also glow in the dark. So we go all out. We go all out with that. And then just more artwork for my art show. Now, over here, we have more foam, but the thing that started this entire room was the fact that I wanted a hydroponic garden wall. I was originally gonna do an entire wall, but I was like, too expensive. So I did this. This is a fake hydroponic garden wall that I made, and I just used PVC pipe, and it took a really long time to figure it out. Like, I know it looks simple. No, it took a really long time to figure out how to get that to stay on the wall, because I did not consider like, oh, it needs to be hooked here. So I got L brackets, and also everything I'm talking about, I have a video remaking every single room in my apartment, so you can see the struggle of what I went through to do it. If you're curious to check it out, you totally can. You can find me on YouTube. The channel is just Lanchen. But yeah, I got all of these little plants from IKEA, and then I just drilled some holes in the PVC pipe, added some more foam. I looked up some futuristic ship-looking designs to paint here, and I loved that this just gave this window shape. And you might notice there are blinds in here, and that's because I actually thought it kind of worked for this space. And adding curtains to the space just wouldn't really make sense for the vibe I was going for, so I just kept it. Less work for me. Over here, another one of my favorite DIY projects. Oh my gosh, okay. So this is actually made, I made this myself. I just drew it on. I have some Star Wars writing here. And I made a little space map out of PVC pipe. If you saw the side of this, guys, it's literally so jerry-rigged. I don't even know if you want to show it. It's being held up by a shelf that attaches to a desk, and then foam. And then I just lit it with LEDs. This piece of PVC I got from my picture frame, which you're gonna see is in my bathroom now. So I literally took two different pieces from one piece and then split them up and put them in different rooms. I'm telling you, you just gotta see the makeovers to understand what I'm talking about, but this is one of my favorite projects, and at night it's so sick. It's so cool. It's very Star Wars vibes. So my YouTube channel is surrounding bringing in like my vision to life through interior design. I also cover themed events. So I mean, when you go through my apartment, you're gonna see I love different themes. And I love living in that. So I started recently doing LARPing, which sounds nerdy, I know, but I promise it's actually not as nerdy as you think. It's just like a next level way of going to a theme park, but everyone is committed to being in a character. Like, it's so much fun. So I document themed events there, and it's not just LARPing, it's like Renaissance festivals or any sort of themed event you might have never thought of going to. I'll document that. And then I also do interior design related videos as well, doing makeovers and talking about how to make your home more themed. Okay, so this bathroom I was going for Victorian. Now the wallpaper, this is gonna be such an interesting story. I was working with a company that sent me this wallpaper, and then halfway through they switched managers and they never replied. So I didn't get all the wallpaper. And so I had to improvise. So what I did in this space is I hand painted the pattern onto the white wall. And I did the best I could. I didn't want to cover it entirely. And I just tried to make it work. And I also did it over here as well. So that's a pretty funny story about this bathroom, but I love this wallpaper. I think it's beautiful, and it's actually all renter friendly. I applied this wallpaper using my starch method, which you just pull it off the wall and there's no residue. It's amazing. And you can also reuse the wallpaper. Just saying, it's a really good hack. And then because I was going for like a Victorian vibe, that meant ornate detailings and lots of dark wood tones. So this cabinet down here, this was my first wallpaper cabinet I've ever done. And it was a light brown color. I don't know who installed this and thought that would look good in here. We have this beautiful checkered floor, like, come on, match the tones. So I did the dark tone and it made it look 1,000 times better. And it also makes it look a little more Victorian. And then on this wall, okay, again, I don't understand why the person who installed the light fixture made it so off-centered from the sink. It is so annoying, guys. But we had to work with it. Unfortunately, I could not replace this one because there's a huge hole behind the light fixture. So if I were to replace it with anything else, it would show. So I kept it. It sucks, but there's nothing I can do. We had to make it work. So something I did because I wanted to replace the mirror, I realized I could not do it, is I got this picture frame and I just nailed it behind the mirror to make it look like, I don't know, it was a little more elegant. And then I also glued these pieces on, painted them gold, these little ornate detailings. I painted that frame gold as well. And that frame cost me like $2. And it makes it look so much better than just having that plain mirror on the wall. So everything else that you see in here is also thrifted. This little jewelry holder, thrifted. This piece right here, it's giving Art Deco. But this is from a house that was being torn down. This is also from that same house, which is so perfect for the Victorian period because of the dark wood tones. I also have a little cabinet back here, which is kind of hard to see, that I made myself. And it's also with the dark wood tones for lighting. I really like to have like a smaller light in a bathroom. I don't always want this, especially at night. It's so annoying. So I thrifted this little guy right here and I keep this on all the time. I love it. For the curtains, again, I don't really know if curtains in a bathroom are supposed to go to the floor. Also, I feel like that would be gross. So I just used short ones. And the same curtain, these have been used in every single one of my spaces. I've made like a DIY canopy for a bed using these. I've used them as actual curtains. I've used them as capes for events. I'm not kidding. I repurpose everything somehow. Instead of using a shower curtain, I wanted something else. And I just used the same curtains right here for the shower. And I thought it looked way better. And especially because if I had a shower curtain that was just a block color, it would feel like you're walking into a wall because this bathroom's so small. So the fact that you can kind of see through it, it's so nice. It's so nice. It makes it feel a little bit bigger. You can kind of see the checkered pattern back there, and it doesn't feel like you're being enclosed by the space. Back here, I got this from the 99-cent store, put some rub and buff on it, done. I made these shelves. These are the same shelves from my kitchen, and I made those as well from recycled wood. And I just rounded the edges, stained it with some paint, got some plants in here, you know, tried to do the rule of thirds in this section right here by just keeping one plant, and then evening it out with the pictures on the wall. And then one of my favorite things, which is a weird thing to say, I wallpapered the toilet lid, guys, okay, to match my cabinet. And when you look up Victorian bathrooms, they used to have wood tubs and everything was wood. And so I saw that they also had wood toilet seat covers. So I was like, can I do this with wallpaper? Turns out you can. And I love it. It's a little gross, but it makes it look so much cuter. So that's my bathroom. This is my favorite one. It's to put your curtains floor to ceiling. Okay, like remove the blinds, please. When you move into an apartment, get rid of your blinds. If you have your curtains right at the top of the windowsill, like it looks awful. Remove them, like put them higher up, make them floor to ceiling, make sure it's the right length because it makes such a huge difference. I'm not even kidding. Like once you do it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I should have done this every time I moved. Yeah, that's my main tip. One of my favorite things to do that is renter friendly is either using a big king-sized bed sheet to make a DIY wallpaper. You can starch it onto a wall, which is crazy. And then when you're done using it, you can pull it off. It leaves no residue and you can wash the sheet and reuse it as a sheet. It's like the craziest hack I've ever discovered. All right, so this is my bedroom. This is quite a mixture of all of my interests. So it was pretty much created with everything left over that I had that I didn't want to store away or else I had to get rid of it. And that's what this room is. I would call it like dark academia, whimsical dark academia. So this is that wallpaper. This is a bed sheet that I just nailed on the wall. You can do starch as well, but I just did weather strip nails for this. One of my favorite DIYs, something I would recommend to anyone that wants to like change their apartment. If I did it starched, that would be amazing, but unfortunately I was only able to find one sheet because I did thrift this, and I have been searching for this one on Google Images and I cannot find it. So we're just gonna have to stick with one and just keep the weather strip nails in. So this is my little reading corner over here. I do actually read. This is not just for display, okay? It's very like dark academia corner. Another beautiful thrifted light. Gosh, I'm so happy with this find. I've always wanted a light like that was converted oil lamp, and I found it, guys. It's my favorite light. Everything you see here is either from the 99-cent store, like the frames, or thrifted, or from estate sales. This is actually a picture that I got from an estate sale, and that is an original printed image from like one of the first printers ever. That's why the color is bleeding through like that, which is a pretty neat thing. Here is that other chair, the sister to the one in the living room, and more thrifted furniture. Actually, no, this was left on the side of the road with a free sign on it, and I took it. Like, it's very Victorian vibes. I love it. It holds all of my extra things that I was like, what do I do with this? Do I have to get rid of it? Yeah, this is a really cool piece. I painted it. It's a spine candle from Target, which is crazy because they were selling it all white, and I was like, I'm gonna make this look so realistic, people are gonna be afraid. And it looks so sick. I don't think I can ever burn it. It just looks too neat. Like, I love it. It's a pretty cool piece. Yeah, so this is my little reading nook. I also film here as well. I put a little rug on the ground to kind of differentiate this from the rest of the space, because just with the chair here in the bedroom, it didn't really look like a reading corner, but now that the little rug is here, it actually does something to it. More thrifted wall sconces. Gosh, I have so many of these. Can you tell I love wall sconces? I do. I really do. More LED candles. One of my favorite features, one of my favorite decor features are these wings. So I spray painted these for a Saltburn costume, and I was like, oh, this looks so sick. It looks like a little sculpture, but I can't get rid of these. So I decided to put it on the wall, and I love it. Every time people come over, they're like, where did you get those? This is so cool. I mean, I never thought to put wings on a wall, but now that they're there, it just makes so much sense. And they're at a height where it just makes everything feel taller, because I also, over here, I put the picture frame up here to make the room feel taller as well, because it's so short in here. It gets shorter. Fun fact, this room gets lower on this side, so it's like 7.5 feet tall ceilings. So I have floor to curtain. I have floor to ceiling curtains, but unfortunately, they're too long. Fun fact. Sword, I do use this for LARPing. That's why it's on display. And here are the rest of my LARP swords, which I also have to display. Otherwise, I have to get rid of them. That's the rule of this room. If it's not displayed, it has to go. And I'm telling you, if you have a struggle with like keeping a bunch of stuff and you're like, how do I downsize? Just do that, and you will never have too much. This is my little whimsical corner. I have used these vines and these flowers in so many different makeovers, and it's great because with me moving all the time, it's like the one piece you can bring with you from home to home that packs down to nothing and makes a huge difference when you put it on a wall. So I also added LEDs up there to kind of mimic fireflies, stars, whatever. They change colors. And this is a piece of furniture my dad made for me. Pretty simple space right here. And with the setup of this room, it only made sense for the bed to be here. The room is very oddly shaped. Typically, I would have 2 nightstands, not push the bed into the corner. I hate that, but this is the best we could do with the space. We made it work. I also have a hidden star projector back here that I like to turn on at night. And people always say this looks like Pandora. I don't know. It's a little bright in here. You'll have to decide whether that's what it looks like. Let's see if I shut this off, if you can see it better. Oh, a little. Yeah, very whimsy, very magical. What do they say? Very demure. Home to me is my creative space that just brings me joy and inspires me. Like, it has to be a place that inspires me. Yeah. All right, Homeworthy, that is it. Thanks so much for coming to visit me today, but I gotta go make some art, so I will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.